Hi to all, welcome to HAF channel. You're watching health, environment, fire safety, food safety, sustainability solutions. Today we are discussing about what is the 5 keys to safer food. Let us discuss for that. As per that, food safety and norms, how to food is safe and how to protect the food in your workplace area, in your restaurants, in your home, as per World Health Organizations. So let us discuss what is the 5 keys to safer food manual. So in this, as per World Health Organizations, they clearly given the 5 keys to safer food manual and food handling methods, food contamination prevention and control, and manuals and World Health Organizations. So they're all this we will taken for that as per that food safety guidelines in this scenario. So let us discuss for that. First of all, what is the introduction and things, and what is the background of this material, and what are the 5 keys to the safer food poster, and what is the 5 keys to safer food. And in this we will 5 keys to safer food, mainly we will focusing for that 5 points is the number 1, keep clean, number 2, separate raw and cooked, number 3, cooked thoroughly, number 4, keep food a safer temperatures, number 5, use safe water and raw materials. So every aspect is should be have to the control of the food safety. So coming to introduction, the food safety is the significant public health issue. Unsafe food has been a human health problem since history was first recorded, and many food safety problems encountered today are not new. Although governments are all over the world are doing their best to improve the safety of the food supply, the occurrence of the foodborne disease remains a significant health issue in both developed and developing countries. It has been estimated that each year 1.8 million people die as a result of diarrheal disease, and most of these cases can be attributed to contaminated food or water. Proper food preparation can prevent most foodborne diseases. So, more than 200 known diseases are transmitted through food. The World Health Organization has long been aware of the need to educate food handlers about their responsibility for food safety. In the earlier 1990s, WHO developed the 10 golden rules for safe food preparations, which were widely translated and reproduced. However, it became obvious that something simpler and more generally applicable was needed. After nearby a year consultation with food safety experts and risk communicators, WHO introduced the 5 keys to safer food poster in 2001. The 5 keys to safer food poster incorporates all the messages of the 10 golden rules for safe food preparation under the simpler headings that are more easily remembered, and also provided more detail on the reasoning behind the suggested measures. The 5 keys to safer food poster, it represents the core messages of the 5 keys to safer food are: number 1, keep clean, number 2, separate raw and cooked, number 3, cook thoroughly, number 4, keep food at safe temperatures, and number 5, use safe water and raw materials. The poster has been translated into more than 40 languages and is being used to separate WHO's food hygiene message throughout the world. So it's a very good aspect for this 5 keys to safer food manual. The coming to the 5 keys to safer food manual, the 5 keys to safer food manual is divided into two sections. Section 1 is the background material and section 2 is the 5 keys to safer food. The section 2 elaborates the core food safety information provided into WHO 5 keys to safer food poster and suggested how to communicate these messages. When presenting the material on the 5 keys to safer food, it is important that this core information and the rationale why and remain the same as the presented in the poster. The information in section 1, the background material, is not meant by presented in the current format. That every trainer has flexible to how and when to discuss the points provided in the section. The trainer should identify the points within this section that are applicable to the audience and integrate these points into the presentation of the material in section 2. In both sections, informed is divided into two columns. The first column contains basic information that should be presented to all audiences. The second column contains two additional information which is not designed to the presented in the audience, but is designed to aid the trainer is answering questions for sectors to manual also presents. The consideration and suggestions for the trainer, ways to adapt the material for the different audience and different locations. When adapting the manual to prepare a training session, the following points and questions should be considered. Is mandatory. Who is the audience? And schools and children or young adults, home food handlers and food workers. And will the audience understand the level of language? Have enough visual cues in incorporated and accommodated those who might not understand the language? Is a material is an appropriate length to capture and hold audience attention? Are instructions clear, concise and easy to follow? Is the material presented in a interesting way that easy to remember and understand? Does the material is reinforce the core information? Have examples of local foods been incorporated? Are local foods practices discussed? So does the material reflect local facilities, running water, refrigerators? So like that we have to discuss for every food safety aspects. Although information provided, the 5 keys to safer food manual will be adapted for each audience. The concept of the core information should remain the same as that WHO 5 keys to safer food poster. So how can we really evaluate? Means all aspects of 5 keys to safer food training material should be evaluated. Each and every manual and 2 evaluation forms. Organizer and trainer should be have to participate in the evaluation form to organizer, the trainer evaluation, the demographics of the audience, of the suitability of the adaptation process, and whether or not training session is achievable is goal. The evaluation form is the participant evaluate the impact of the training session on food safety knowledge, attitude and behaviors. It is recommended to the participants complete one evaluation form before the training session and one more evaluation after the training competitions. So these are all the completely food safety posters and evaluation of the trainers and participants. In the World Health Organizations is very clearly mentioned for that what is that 5 keys of the safe food. So for this, let us will discuss about background of material and background of these things. Means what is the suppose we will be discussed for that introduction in this background every day. So what is the problem and what is the information? Let us will discuss clearly. Every day people all over the world get sick from the food they eat. This sickness is called the foodborne disease and is caused by dangerous microorganisms and are toxic chemicals. So most foodborne disease is preventable with proper food handling. So for this, what is the additional information and what is the control methods? Means additional information is where that foodborne diseases is a problem in both developing and developed countries. Is a strained or healthcare systems. The severely affects the infants or young children or elderly and the sick. This create the viscous cycle of the diarrhea and malnutrition, and hurts national economy and development and international trade. So like the problem and additional information is very important, and the consideration, the suggestion of that every The language is how to easy to understand the simple and the terminology of the toxic chemicals. So microorganisms are very small living things, so small that they can't be seen within a naked eye. So what are the microorganisms and what is the additional information is coming to microorganisms are very small living things. It is so small, so they can't seen by that naked eye. There are three different types of microorganisms: the good, the bad, and the dangerous. Good microorganisms are useful. They make food and drinks. Is example cheese and yogurt, beer and wine. Make medicines, example penicillins, and help digest food in the gut. The bad microorganisms or spoilage microorganisms do not usually make people sick, but they cause our food to smell bad, taste horrible, and look disgusting. And dangerous microorganisms make people sick and can even kill. So they are all called pathogens. Most of these microorganisms do not change the appearance of the food. So for this, the additional information, microorganisms are so small that it takes to 1 million to cover at the head of the pin. Bacteria, viruses, yeasts, molds, and parasites are all microorganisms. The smell, taste, and appearance of food are not good indicators of whether the food will make you sick. Some spoilage microorganisms do change the appearance of food and dangerous. An example is the green mold and bread, which can produce toxins. Examples of common dangerous foodborne microorganisms include bacteria, Salmonella, Shigella, Campylobacter, and Escherichia coli. Parasites is a Giardia and Trichinella, and virus is the hepatitis A and norovirus. So what's a consideration is a suggestion for this topic for food safety as a trainer or anything. You have to familiar with the dangerous microbes in your region. It may be appropriate to change the example showing the relative size of microbes. For example, 1,000 bacteria side by side would occupy the centimeter of space. Providing the pictures and examples with mildly fruity fruit may add interest, but it must be stressed that dangerous bacteria may not always make food smell, taste, or look bad. So what do the microorganisms live? Microorganisms are everywhere, but are mostly found in feces, soil and water, rats, mice, insects, and pests, and domestic, marine, and farm animals. Example dogs, fish, cows, chicken, and pigs, and people, bowels, mouth, nose, intestines, hands, fingernails, and skin. And additional information, human and animal feces contain disease causing microorganisms. A single teaspoon of soil contains more than 1 billion microorganisms. All living things have a microorganism associated with them. Animals carry microorganisms on their feet, in their mouth, and on their skin. An average 1 lakh bacteria can be found on each square centimeter of human skin. So how do microorganisms move? Microorganisms rely on someone or something to move them around. The transfer of microorganisms from one surface to another is called contamination. Hands are one of the most common means of moving microorganisms from one place to another. So microorganisms can be spread through contaminated food and water. The pets and domestic animals can also be source of contamination. So for this additional information, if a food handler is infected with a virus and continues to prepare food, some viruses may be passed on the customer via through food. Hepatitis C and norovirus are examples of viruses which can be transmitted in this way. And zoonosis are communicable diseases caused by microorganisms transmitted from animals to human. Avian influenza and infectious with E. coli 0157 are examples of zoonosis. Avian influenza can be transmitted to humans through direct contact with an infected bird or objects. contaminated by their feces. So every foodborne outbreak, including cause of outbreak aid, what could be done and prevention infection control methods is very important. And how do microorganisms grow? So the microorganisms is grow is a multiplications. To multiply, microorganisms need food. Through food they will grow, through water they will grow, time and warmth also grow. Meat, seafood, cooked rice, cooked pasta, milk, cheese and eggs are foods that provide ideal conditions for microorganisms to grow. For this additional information, one bacterium can become two in just 15 minutes. This means that within 6 hours, one bacterium can multiply to over 16 million. To be harmful, some bacteria need to grow to high levels. Other bacteria can cause illness when they are present in very low numbers. Viruses are many times smaller than bacteria. They do not grow in food or water, but these are vehicles for transmission. For this concentration, for every trainer for this food safety topic can discuss for all local foods that do not and don't provide the ideal condition for growth microorganisms, and dried beans, pebbles or other objects can be used to demonstrate bacterial growth. As an example of quick growth, start with an object to in 15 seconds make it 2 objects, in another 15 make it 4 objects, and 8 objects, double and number of objects, heavy and 15 seconds. So all this you have to understand for this microorganisms and it's how it is moving and transmitted. What are the symptoms of foodborne disease? Every year billions of the people experience one or more episodes of foodborne disease without ever knowing that their illness was caused by food. The most common symptoms of foodborne disease are stomach pain, vomitings and diarrhea. The symptoms depend on the cause of the diarrhea. Symptoms may occur very quickly after eating the food or may take days or even weeks to appear. For most foodborne diseases, symptoms occur 24 to 72 hours after the food has been eaten. Foodborne disease can lead to long-term health problems. Very severe diseases including cancer, arthritis and neurological disorders can be caused by contaminated food. So every that symptoms of foodborne disease, it's additional information coming to for infants, the sick, pregnant women and that elderly. The consequences of the foodborne disease are usually more severe and more often fatal. So drinking plenty of fluids will maintain a hydration during diarrhea. It is estimated that 3% of cases of foodborne disease can lead to long-term health problems. Mouth masks are recommended for people who may cough or sneeze while handling food. Gloves can be used to cover any cuts or lesions and should be changed frequently. Advised on treatment of foodborne illness differs between countries and should be adapted to the local region. However, one should seek medical advice when bowel movements are very frequent, very watery or contain blood or at least beyond 3 days. So what do if you get sick? What to do if you get sick? Try not to handle or operate food while you are sick and for 48 hours after your symptoms stops. However, if this can't be avoided, wash your hands with your soap and water first and frequently during the preparations. Some foodborne disease can be transmitted from that person to person, and caregivers can become sick from patients with a foodborne illness. When symptoms are severe, seek medical advice immediately. So what is the consideration of these things? Food industry workers need to notify their employees for the following: hepatitis A, diarrhea, vomiting, fever, sore throat, skin rash, other skin lesions, boils, cuts or discharge from ears or eyes or nose. High risk activities such as slaughtering and preparing ready to eat foods may require special personal protective equipment and take the guidelines from that local regulations body. And coming to what is the chemical should not be forgotten. Chemical should not be forgotten. Microorganisms are not the only cause of foodborne illness. People also get sick from the poisonous chemicals, which include natural toxins, metals and environmental pollutants, chemicals used for treating animals, improperly used pesticides, chemicals used for cleaning and improperly used for food additives. Simple measures such as a washing and peeling may reduce the risk from chemicals that are found in that surface of foods. Appropriate storage can avoid that or reduce the formation of some natural toxins. So poisonous is a term used to describe sickness resulting from chemical contamination. Some natural toxins, aflatoxins, are caused by the molds growing on the food, and ingesting aflatoxins may have harmful effect on the liver that can lead to cancer. So for this, it may be useful elaborate that some of the chemicals that are that threat to specific populations are methyl mercury or arsenic, and discuss the importance of the reading and understanding instead of labeling and good labeling procedure, and material safety data procedure of the chemicals, and cleaning procedures, and how the hazards is there, what is the high risk and low risk. Using cookware and utensils glazed with materials containing heavy metals like lead and cadmium can result in the chemical poisoning and like this. So what you can make the difference? Stop microorganisms from making you and other people sick by following the 5 keys to safer food. So that is a reason you can make a difference. You can implement for this 5 keys to safer food. That is, keep clean, separate raw and cooked, cook thoroughly, keep food at safe temperatures, and use safe water and raw materials. It is a very important to follow the 5 keys to safer food, because proper food handling is key to foodborne disease prevention. These messages are core information and should be presented to all audiences. In some countries, it may be necessary to address the use of safe water and raw materials before presenting the 5 keys to safer food. The 5 keys to safer food is the very most important. You can core information of the keep clean. Coming to number 1, keep clean. Wash your hands before handling food and often during food preparation. Wash your hands after going to the toilet. Wash and sanitize all surfaces and equipment used for food preparation. Protect kitchen areas and food from insects, pests and other animals. Why? Means, whilst most microorganisms do not cause the disease, dangerous microorganisms are widely found in soil, water, animal and people. These microorganisms are carried on hands, on wiping cloths and utensils, especially the cutting boards, and that slightest contact can transfer them to food and cause foodborne diseases. So for this we can be explained to very clearly the because looks clean does not mean that it is, and it takes over 2.5 billion bacteria to make 250 millions of the water look cloudy, but in some cases it takes only 15 to 20 pathogenic bacteria to make one sick. If slaughtering of animals at home is practiced in your region, the following information is very important. And keep that area clean and separate from food preparation area. Change clothes and wash hands and equipment after slaughtering. Do not slaughter sick animals. Be aware of ongoing diseases in your area such as avian influenza. Human health risks from these diseases may require additional control such as using personal protective gear. Contact that local government authority for further information. Remove fecus from the home and keep it separate from food growing, preparation and storage areas. Wash hands to prevent contamination with fecal material. Keep domestic and other live animals away from the food growing, preparation and storage areas. example pets and poultry animals raised in the home. So coming to next, how to keep yourself clean and that hands frequently transport microorganisms from one place to another, and this is how to keep yourself clean. Hand washing, it's a very major important. You should be wash your hands in before handling food, and often during the preparation, before eating, and after going to the toilet, after handling the raw meat or poultry, after changing the baby's nappy or diaper, after blowing your nose, after handling rubbish, after handling chemicals including through those used to clean, after playing with pet animals, and after smoking. To wash your hands you should wet hands under running water, rub hands together for at least 20 seconds with soap, rinse hands under running water, and dry hands thoroughly with a clean dry towel, preferably a paper towel. So for this additional information, the food industry, it is important to discuss the personal hygiene, high level personal hygiene. The discussion should be include topics such as no PPE, like wearing gloves, so keeping fingernails trimmed, and wearing clean clothes. If gloves are used, they should be changed often. And also toilet could be understood as a defecation only. If urination is not also mentioned, many people wash their hands improperly. They do not use soap or wash or only part of their hands. When washing hands, pay attention to fingertips, fingernails, and thumbs, wrists, and in between fingers. So the combination of hot water and soap helps to remove grease, the bacteria, and dirt. The bucket with a tap or a bucket and a pitcher can be used to wash hands when no running water is available. So it is a best to wash hands with warm water, but in the many areas warm water is not available. So cold or lukewarm water washing is acceptable when used with soap. So the coming to how to clean plates and utensils. In general, one should clean while preparing food so microorganisms do not have a chance to grow. Pay special attention to eating, drinking, and cooking utensils that touch raw food or mouth. Sanitized cutting boards and utensils after they have been in contact with raw meat or seafood, and don't forget to clean and dry cleaning equipments as microorganisms grow fast in damp places. For cleaning after the meal, one should be scrape excess food into a rubbish bin, wash in hot water with detergent, using a clean cloth or brush to remove leftover food and grease, and rinse in clean hot water. Sanitize utensils with boiling water or with a sanitizing solution, and leave dishes and cooking utensils to air dry or wipe with a clean air dry cloth. So this is the additional information. It is important to distinguish between cleaning and sanitizing. Cleaning is the process of physically removing dirt and crumbs of food. The sanitizing is the process of disinfecting or killing the germs. Understood? It is very important. Cleaning is the process of physically removing dirt and crumbs of food, and sanitizing is the process of disinfecting of killing the germs. So cloths, towels, and other cleaning utensils need to be kept clean and changed daily, and sponges are not recommended, and use separate cloths for cleaning dishes and surfaces to prevent the spread of microorganisms. To make a sanitizing solutions, mix 5 ml household bleach in 750 ml of water and use for utensils, surfaces, and wiping cloths. And boiling water can also be used to sanitize utensils, but be careful to avoid burns. And coming to how to protect the food preparation areas from pests. And pests are rats, mice, birds, cockroaches, flies, and other insects. Pet animals, ducks, cats, birds carry microorganisms and pests, fleas, ticks on their feet, fur, and feathers. So what to keep food safe from pests? So you can follow that. Keep food covered or in closed containers. Keep rubbish bins covered and remove the rubbish regularly. Keep food preparation areas in food conditions. Repair wall cracks or holes. Use baits, insecticides to kill pests, taking care not to contaminate food, and keep domestic animals away from the food preparation areas. And additional information coming to the pests can transfer harmful microorganisms onto food and kitchen surfaces. Changes the example of my common pests depending on the prevalent pests within the chosen target area. And discuss ways to eliminate pests from the food preparation and storage areas. In some countries, it may be impossible to ensure that the kitchen is totally pest free. So, in this area, clean and sanitize surface and utensils before cooking. So, cats carry a parasite that can contaminate food and cause serious disease in unborn babies. Keep cats away from food preparation and storage areas. And to coming to separate raw and cooked. Separate raw and second key. This is the second key of separate raw and cooked. First key is the keep clean. Second key is the separate raw and cooked. And in this main information of the core information is that separate raw meat, poultry and seafood other foods from other foods. Use separate equipment and utensils such as knives and cutting boards for handling raw foods. Store food in containers to avoid contact between raw and prepared foods. Why? Means raw food, especially meat, poultry and seafood and their juices, can contain dangerous microorganisms which may be transferred onto other foods during the food preparation and storage. So consideration means, so you can understand for this how to separate that raw and cooked food. Keep raw and prepared food separately. Prevent the transfer of microorganisms. Cross contamination is the term to describe the transfer of microorganisms from raw to cooked food, and you can prevent the cross contaminations to maintain that color coding systems for this. And how to keep raw and prepared food separately, and what is the additional information. While shopping, keep raw meat, poultry and seafood separate from other foods. And in the refrigerator, store raw meat, seafood and poultry below cooked or ready to eat foods to avoid cross contamination. Store food in containers with lids to avoid contact between raw and prepared foods. And wash plates used for raw food. Use a clean plate for cooked foods. So for this additional information, emphasize that separation must occur not only when cooking but during all phases of food preparation, including slaughtering process. So liquids used for marinating raw meat should not be poured over the meat when it is cooked and ready to eat. So third key is cook thoroughly. Cook thoroughly. So this is the core information is cook food thoroughly, especially meat, poultry, eggs and seafood. The bring foods like soups and stews to boiling to make sure that they have a reached 70-degree temperature for meat and poultry. Make sure that juices are clear, not pink. Ideally use a thermometer. Reheat cooked food thoroughly. And why? Means proper cooking can kill almost all dangerous microorganisms. Studies have shown that cooking food to a temperature of 70 degrees can help ensure it is safer for consumption. Food that require special attention include the minced meats and rolled roasts, large joints of meat and whole poultry. So provide example of the food and dishes eaten by audience, and these foods and dishes along with that usual technique of cooking of emphasize how to ensure that the food is cooked thoroughly, and cooking safely in the micro oven is that micro ovens can cook unevenly and leave cold spots where dangerous bacteria can survive. Make sure that food cooked in a microwave oven is a safer temperature throughout. Some plastic containers release toxic chemicals upon heating and should not be used in a microwave to heat food. So coming to uh, in cook food, how to cook food thoroughly. Food must reach a temperature of 70 degree in order to ensure it is safe to eat. A temperature of 70 degree kills even high concentration of microorganisms within 30 seconds. Use a thermometer to check that foods reach 70 degree temperature. Some audience will need to be taught how to use a thermometer. Instructions for use is the place the thermometer in the center of the thickest part of the meat. Make sure that thermometer is not touching a bone or the side of the container. Make sure the thermometer is cleaned and sanitized between each use to avoid cross contamination between raw and cooked food. If thermometer is not able, what can you do? You do cook poultry until the juices are clear and that inside is no longer pink. Cook eggs and seafood until piping hot throughout, and bring liquid based food such as soups and stews to a boil and continue to boil for at least for 1 minute. So in this additional information, the center of an intact piece of meat is often sterile. Most bacteria are in the outer surface. Eating intact pieces of meat, example roast or beef with red centers, is usually not dangerous. However, in minced meat, roasts or poultry, the bacteria can be found both outside and in the center. So lower cooking temperatures can be used to kill microorganisms in certain foods. With lower temperatures, more cooking time is required. So reheat cooked food is until it's piping hot thoroughly. That reheating is for using for only one time for that once cooked the food. And it's coming to keep food at safe temperatures. The danger zone of that temperature is that 5 to 60 degree temperatures. It's come to keep food at a safe temperature is that do not leave cooked food and room temperatures for more than 2 hours. Refrigerate properly all cooked and perishable food, preferably below 5 degree temperature. Keep cooked food piping hot more than 60 degree prior to serving. Do not store food too long even in the refrigerator. And do not throw and do not thaw frozen food at a room temperature. And why? So what is the reason means? Microorganisms can multiply very quickly if food is stored at room temperature. By holding at temperatures below 5 degree or above 60 degree, the growth of microorganisms is slowed down or stopped. Some dangerous microorganisms still grow below 5 degree temperatures. So for this we have to consideration for this store practices very greatly. Become the familiar with food storage practices in the area and discuss the safe storage practices and provide storage times for the refrigerated foods common to the area. Explore the options other than the refrigerations to lower temperature and dig a hole, use cold water. If safer storage is not feasible, discuss the possibility of obtaining fresh food and using it immediately. And directions will need to be converted into foreign heat for some audiences. So like 70 degrees is about the 160 foreign degrees and can be used as a common reference temperature for cooking. So discuss on how safely thaw large pieces of meat and turkeys or roasts are like. So thawing means thawing food safely in the microwave. Like microwave ovens can be used to thaw food but can leave warm spots where microorganisms can grow, and food thawed in the microwave oven should be cooked properly. So coming to what are the safe temperature for food. The danger zone is the temperature range of the 5 degree to 60 degree, which microorganisms multiply very fast. And refrigeration slows bacteria growth. However, even when food is stored in the refrigerator or freezer, microorganisms can grow. So microorganisms can't be multiply. It is too hot or too cold. The cooling or freezing food does not kill microorganisms, but this limits growth. Normally, microorganisms multiply faster at higher temperatures, but once temperatures reach 50 degree, most microorganisms do not multiply. How to keep food at safe temperatures and what is the additional information means the promptly cool and store leftovers, and prepare food in small amounts to be reduce the amount of leftovers, and leftover food should not be stored in that refrigerator for longer than 3 days and should not be reheated more than once, and thaw food in the refrigerator or other cool location, and leftover food can be cooled quickly by putting the food onto open trays, slicing large pieces of meat into smaller pieces, and placing food in a cool, clean container or stirring regularly for soups. So label leftovers to indicate how long they can be stored. So like that you have to keep the food at a safe temperatures in without spoiling and without cross contamination. Coming to key 5 is use safe water and raw materials. In that use safe water and raw materials. Use safe water or treaties to make it safe. Select fresh and wholesome food. Choose foods processed for safely, such as a pasteurized milk. So wash fruits and vegetables, especially if eaten raw. Do not use food beyond its expiry date. Why? Raw materials including water and ice may be contaminated with dangerous microorganisms and chemicals. Toxic chemicals may be formed in the damaged and moldy folds. Care in the selection of the raw materials and simple measures such as a washing and peeling may be reduce risk. Safe means the water and food is free from dangerous microorganisms and toxic chemicals at the levels could cause illness and disease. And what is the safe water? Untreated water from rivers and canals contain parasites and pathogens which can cause diarrhea, typhoid, or dysentery. Untreated water from rivers and canal is not safe. Rainwater are collected in clean tanks is safe as long as the tanks are protected from the contamination from the birds or other animals. Safe water is needed to wash fruits and vegetables, add to food, make up drinks, make ice, clean cooking and eating utensils, and wash hands. So, boiling, chlorination, and filtration are important means to inactivate the microorganisms pathogens, microbial pathogens, but do not remove harmful chemical. The disinfect water is bring to a rolling boil, add 3 to 5 drops of chlorine to 1 liter of water, or physically remove pathogens with appropriate filter, and covering tanks and other receptacles with netting prevents the breeding of dengue mosquito vectors. So use safe water is how to select safe raw materials. When buying or using food, select fresh and wholesome food. Avoid food that is damaged or rotting. Choose foods processed for safety such as a pasteurized milk or irradiated meat. Wash fruits and vegetables with safe water, especially if eaten raw. Do not use food after its expiry date. Throw away smashed, swollen, or oxidized cans and choose ready to eat, cooked, or perishable foods that are stored correctly, either hot or cold, but not in the danger zone. The bacteria can grow, it can goods that are not properly prepared. Fresh fruits and vegetables have been identified as a significant source of the pathogens and chemical contaminants. Therefore, it is critical to wash all fruits and vegetables with clean and safe water before eating. Cut away damaged or bruised areas of fruits, vegetables. Bacteria can thrive in these places. Pay attention to the expiry date on the food items and throw away food when the date has passed. And so like this you can be understand for this 5 keys to safer food posters, and that is the number one is the, again I am repeating, you can understand the participants and trainers, whoever that basic knowledge about the food safety or food safety professionals or HSC professionals or hospitality industries or health professionals, cooks, chefs, everybody must and should be understand about basic 5 keys to safe food and knowledge to evaluate, to understand that number one is the key, keep clean. In that you can understand it is important to wash hands before handling the food, and you can be evaluated yourself and separate raw and cooked food and cook thoroughly. Keep food at safe temperatures. Use safe water and raw materials. So there are all 5 keys to safe food without spoiling and without cross contaminations. So end of the day we are removing the bacteria. The bacteria is a microscopic organism which may be found in the environment or food or animals. So contamination, what is a contamination? Cross contamination means the introduction of microorganisms of disease agent from raw food into ready to eat food, making it unsafe. So any biological or chemical agent, foreign matter, other substances not intentionally and added to food that may be compromise food safety or suitability. So food is the any plant or any animal product prepared or sold for human consumption, including drinks or chewing substances and any ingredient, food additive or other substances that enters into or is used in the preparation of food, does not include substances using a drug or medicines. So we have to control the foodborne diseases to know different methodologies and things. A general term of describe the any disease or illness caused by eating contaminated food or drink are traditionally referred as a food poisoning. So we are discussed about that clearly mentioned for 5 keys to safer food. You have to follow everybody and understand, implement your workplace area, your kitchen area, your production area, your food manufacturing area and processed areas and your cafeterias, your canteen areas. Please display your 5 keys to safer food and understand that keep clean and separate raw and cooked, cook thoroughly, keep food at safe temperatures, use safe water and raw materials. You can understand for all these 5 keys and implement your areas without cross contamination. Thank you. Thanks a lot.